Yeah. Unhinged. Loud. Came from the choir, but the voice too proud. Built from the pain, now we unhinged and loud. Unhinged and loud. Wake 'em up now.
Welcome to Unhinged N Loud, where we stop normalizing feeling dismissed and we start helping women understand their bodies, decode their symptoms, and actually advocate for themselves. This is where we talk about the things that no one tells you about: autoimmune, chronic illness, and what it really takes to be heard. I'm Amber, and if you've ever been told your labs look normal, but you know something isn't right, you're in the right place, because your symptoms are not random. Today's conversation is a real one. I'm sitting down with Amy. She lives with autoimmune, and she also helps other women navigate it too. So she's seen both sides of this, the struggle and what actually starts to shift things. And we're not doing surface level today. We're getting into what this really looks like. Amy, I want you to start here. Can you take me back to the beginning of your journey, like what you were experiencing and what led you into this work?
Okay, well, we would have to go back about 3 decades. And that's a long
Well, let's
time
go for it.
Yeah. So I was actually 29 when I was first diagnosed, and my first symptoms was Raynaud's. And I went in to the doctor and then ended up, after running a bunch of tests and, a few months later, getting the diagnosis of SLE lupus. And that
that's hard.
It was overwhelming at the time, because at that point I only knew a few people with lupus, and one had died from kidney failure, and another one, she was also really bad off. So it was rather scary. I ended up being disabled at one point, where I couldn't open jars or doors. I couldn't even hold a pencil because my fingers would freeze around it. And I was a teacher. And
oh my gosh.
I was off for a full five years, did not go back to work, and then went back to work part-time until I was able to get back into teaching.
So if you can remember that far back, and I'm just playing, was there like a specific moment that you realized something deeper was going on? Because I can't imagine 20 years ago and the technology we have today, and doctors are still juggling people around, not knowing what's going on. But was there like a specific moment that you knew something deeper was going on?
Well, when we kind of have to fast forward. But during that time, I actually had a really great doctor who he really got into health and nutrition, and so he kind of did put me on that path, and actually it did help for a while, but it didn't prevent flare-ups. It didn't prevent the extreme fatigue, the pain and stiffness. I mean, I felt better, but it was like a roller coaster. I'd feel better, and then I'd feel worse, and then I'd feel better, and then I'd feel worse again.
Absolutely.
Right. And we all know that, the issues with the flare-ups coming and going, and wondering, why are flare-ups? Why am I having another flare-up? And why is this one worse than the last one? And but the real turning point came several years later, when just a routine reading my blood work, and my doctor said, you have chronic kidney disease. And
oh my gosh.
It was stage 3, and I was really pissed because I thought I was healthy and I thought I was doing everything right. It was overwhelming because they give you 10 or 15 years to live. And that was like, well, that's not happening. Like, that's
right.
I don't accept that. And so I, as a teacher, I love to learn. I love to investigate. And so I'm like, I'm going to investigate. I'm going to do some research and figure out if I can slow this down.
So before they even told you that, you didn't know anything else was going on with you? Like, it just kind of bombarded you?
Yeah, that came out of the blue. Like that, like
Wow.
there were no symptoms. There were no, and maybe there were symptoms that I just didn't recognize.
Right.
Right, because with SLE lupus, your whole body can be impacted, and so, but it's not like some of the other symptoms where they were just really obvious. Like I did not feel anything.
And see, I feel like that was the same for me. I was in a toxic mold, and I got an inspector, and he said that I had 2 toxic black molds. This is when I look back and I think about everything that happened. But when you're in that moment, you don't realize the symptoms you're going through. You just kind of see the weight coming on. You're just more tired. Your body just starts hurting more. You think you're getting older, so that's what it's causing. But that's why I wanted to create, the symptom tracker so patients can, because this disease is not a pattern diagnosis. Like, doctors are so used to seeing patterns, and so they see your labs, they see your symptoms, they can put it together. But it's very systematic and very cluttered. So that's why I wanted to create this so they can track their patterns, and because it kind of does catch a lot of people off guard.
I think that's really important that you've put that together, because symptoms can be there for years.
And the website is up and loading. They can even, because I see a lot of people putting their personal labs and asking other people what it means. Mm-hmm. So I also have a lab tracker, so they can actually put in their labs what it means, what other tests doctors should order with it, what questions they should ask their doctor. They can save all this stuff as a PDF. They can print it out. They can take it to their doctor. And most importantly, it's completely free. So I created it because I wish I would have had this when I was going through all this stuff, because it was just a very chaotic moment in my life. I remember that.
Yeah. And for me, it was really overwhelming. And I felt like I was really leading a healthy life. And so it definitely took me off guard. But that's what led to me actually taking the most control over.
So at what point did you realize that just eating healthy wasn't actually enough to change what was happening in your body?
So as part of my kidney diagnosis, I was sent to a dietitian, and that actually wasn't any help, because she told me that I was the healthiest eater she had seen. And that was but my health is declining. So that's a moment that really shook me. And that is when I realized, so I thought I was doing everything right. I was still getting worse. Something's got to be missing. And so my research and it really was to slow down my kidney damage. But that's when I found what is called hypernourishment. And I found that through Dr. Brooke Goldner. She's the author of Goodbye Lupus, Goodbye Autoimmune. She has a website. She has a weekly Q&A. But it was studying her and what she provides nutrition-wise was this is something completely different than just eating clean and eating healthy. It's a much more strategic approach. And it completely shifted how I viewed food.
I think it does everybody. I'm sitting here looking at ingredients was I really eating this stuff? I think about food, and I just think about how contaminated and how nasty it is.
Well, and all the labels of healthy, you slap a label on it, healthy, natural, and I was eating. So this is why I thought I was eating healthy, but I was actually eating a lot of processed foods. So it wasn't just. It's not just what you put in, it's also what you take out. But it really shifted in that I don't see food as just energy, as just calories. I came to understand that food supports cellular repair. and it can help calm inflammation.
I've also heard about like fasting too is really good for, any like, how do I say the word? Like basically like any bacteria, anything not supposed to be in your body, fasting is good for that.
And if I can address the fasting, we fast overnight. And so for those because I did do, I have books, right, on intermittent fasting, on all sorts of different things. But what's easiest for most people is to do that fast overnight. So, stop eating wherever your last meal is. Then your next meal is 12, 14, 16 hours later, once in a while.
I heard that like in 48 hours though, like your cells are rejuvenized. They are getting rid of the toxins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so when you started realizing about your eating healthy and you started looking into all these foods, like what did that shift kind of look like for you, like moving into what you now call like strategic nutrition or hypernourishment?
Yeah, so what happened over time, and some of the first things that had to happen is, I stopped processed foods.
Mm-hmm.
And the sooner you can do that, actually, the better people feel. But we're all individual, so, how much, how fast or slow that can go. But I just, so as I started adding in these, particular foods and not so much particular foods, but like actually it's a really diverse, but it's plant foods. And I just, things started to change. So one of the first things is my fatigue improved. I had all this energy, the pain and stiffness, because that was one of the worst symptoms that I had to deal with, was pain and stiffness throughout my body. So I noticed that I wasn't waking up every morning in pain and stiffness, and that was getting better. Brain fog, gut issues, skin issues. I never had connected that, but I always had dry skin and flaky skin, and I would break out in rashes really easily, and so that all started improving. I had restless leg syndrome that would interfere with sleep, and that disappeared. Vertigo I could have for several days, and all these things started disappearing that I wouldn't have even connected.
Right.
But my body was healing. I mean, it was responding and it was healing. And our bodies are meant to heal. So it was getting the support that it needed. And so that's when things clicked. And I understood that strategic nutrition really needs to be, it's a major tool in how we approach chronic illness.
Absolutely.
So, and nutrition just isn't talked about. It's like, eat better is not nutrition. That's not what autoimmune bodies need.
It really isn't. And I went to a nutritionist for the first time about a couple weeks ago, and I was telling her like all these supplements my doctor was prescribing. Well, yeah, I know that sound. So I'm on a GLP-1 medicine because of my A1C. So I rarely have an appetite, and when I do, I eat like grapes or Greek yogurt or something that isn't really heavy on my stomach, because my stomach, I already have fatty liver, so my liver's already incised. I already feel bloated, and so I can't eat a lot as it is. And she asked me what supplements was I taking, and I named about 10, 12. She's like, okay, hold on. She said, you don't even eat enough for all them supplements to, take in the fat that you were eating. I said, well, this is what my doctor told me to get, so this is what I got. She's like, well, that ain't even gonna work if you're not eating it. So I learned a lot from her too. Yeah, it's not getting absorbed. And I'm a nutritionist who always is food first. And we look at supplements as, okay, that's strategic too. It's not take this, and this.
It's like,
and I saw your post and I just busted out laughing. I was like, I cannot wait to tell her about this.
well, and what you just told me isn't unusual. I've come across clients that have, they're on 13 different medication and supplements, and it's like, first of all, that's destroying the gut. You're not, it's too much. It's overwhelmed. Your body can't actually absorb, can't handle that.
Because isn't autoimmune disease a leaky gut in the first place? Like, that's what causes it.
Yeah, up to 75% of autoimmune is connected to gut issues. And so that's getting healed with this approach to nutrition. It's healing all of that. And you don't need supplements to heal. It's a $1 billion industry. Probiotics, prebiotics. You can get that from food, and you should be getting it from food.
Right. See, the first test I got was low vitamin D. So my doctor told me to get on vitamin D supplements. So I got on that. That never helped. So then she told me to get on magnesium for my legs and, at night. So I got on that. Then she told me to get on turmeric, and then my lymph nodes are so swollen that she told me about this lymph node pill that, would help the drainage. Well, I hate I even took it.
Right.
So,
and the things you just mentioned actually are really good for us, but my approach would be like, we're gonna get those from foods,
right?
First, and then only supplement if that's not happening, because as the nutritionist you went to pointed out, you have to have a foundation for your body to even absorb some of those things. And then science is showing us, and I've done several posts on this, but science is showing us that when you get things in concentrated form, even for the person who isn't struggling with autoimmune, our body, you're either not absorbing it, and so your kidneys and liver is working overtime. And then for an autoimmune body, it can be even worse, even more taxing, because we're already dealing with our livers and kidneys not being able to support us.
Exactly.
And a lot of this, was what I eventually did was I was coming upon retirement from teaching, and by this time so many symptoms had improved, and I just really felt like I had my life back. I didn't have to cancel plans because I wasn't feeling well. I wasn't waking up in the morning afraid of what was not working that day. And I still was dealing with a lot of stress, and I'd done some work with that. But because I was coming up upon retirement, but I still have this full life ahead of me, I decided that this is what I wanted to do. And so I got certified in holistic nutrition, and the holistic part is just, we work with nutrition, but then as the foundation, but then we also get into nervous system regulation and sleep regulation. And we look at,
because the last thing a person wants to hear is, because everybody knows, doctors get paid off, prescriptions, big pharma, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing they want to do is, put you on Humira, put you on this, put you on that. I'm like, wait, no, there's got to be a better way to this. Like, we didn't have this stuff.
Well, the medical community, they want you to be on these medications for your life, the rest of your life. But so many really do damage to your kidneys, and that's and liver, and then that's what you end up. When we die, it's our organs.
And then you're on immunosuppressant, so if you get a cold, what are you going to do? And I hear this all the time. Women, keep saying, I'm doing everything right, and I still don't feel better. So
that's common, right?
Exactly. Right. So from what you've seen, what usually goes on underneath the surface? Like, what are some of the most common nutrient gaps or imbalances that you see in women who are told that their labs are normal?
Well, labs obviously aren't the whole story.
Right.
And, they can, especially when, you're the whole in range but in range doesn't mean optical. They're pretty broad, and so they don't always reflect what someone is dealing with, the chronic inflammation, the different various symptoms and conditions they're dealing with. So you can be told that everything looks fine, but your body's, telling you something otherwise. And so, yes, it's important to look beyond the numbers and really listen to your symptoms and what your body is trying to communicate with you. But some of what's happening in most women, and part of it's the American diet, but a lot of women, they're undernourished at a cellular level. And so even if they're eating regularly and eating healthy, we're not getting what we need to improve our bodies to really bring it back to where it can work for us. And so some of the most common things, first of all, with processed foods, you're getting those chemicals and those additives, the preservatives, and depending, some women, that's really, really what they're responding to, and others not as much. But you kind of know when you start cutting some of these things out how your body feels. And then, protein is the big protein everywhere, $1 billion industry. Protein drinks and protein shakes and protein, bars and protein. But the American diet is not low on protein, like at all. And it's added to a lot of processed foods. So it doesn't have to be meat. You're getting protein in everything. You're getting protein in cereal. You're getting protein. You're just getting it everywhere. But studies show that we're like about 95% of the population isn't getting enough fiber. And that's what our gut needs. That is what's supporting a healthy gut and can heal a leaky gut. So, and then there's other things like you had mentioned, vitamin D. Most of us are low on vitamin D, depending where we live. Our B vitamins, magnesium, omega-3s is those omega-3s, which we also don't need to get through just fish. There's so many plant foods, the iron, but how is your body able to use them? And it's not about like one nutrient. So it's, what are their patterns? But one of the most important things with strategic nutrition is, science shows that we need, for the healthiest gut, we need about 30 different foods a week.
Wow.
And that seems really overwhelming, which is
what you can mix it up and make it fun though.
Yes. And that's where my work is really important because that sounds overwhelming. But I come in and yes, I can start, we look at what you're doing. We take away some things on their pace, add some things on their pace, but we do work up to that. And one of the symptoms that just improves right away is people's exhaustion and energy.
I'm sure we all need that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a big one. This is what I'm trying to kind of gradually understand.
Okay.
So how can someone technically be in range with their labs but still feel exhausted, inflamed, or unwell?
Well, I think this is one of the frustrations that we go through when we get our labs and our doctors, might, everything looks fine. Our labs they're very broad. And, yes, they can show that you have, maybe it'll show that you have a little bit of information. And doctors are so quick to say, just stress less. Eat better, stress less. And poo-poo the symptoms. And, and I've come across women that they really feel ignored. I have been really blessed that I've had a few doctors that really listen to me. But when I talk to people, that's not always the case. And and doctors, I do want to put this in. One of the reasons that nutrition doesn't become part of someone's plan is doctors aren't educated on that. So they're ignorant. And just the other day, it got passed for medical degrees. They have to have 40 hours of nutrition education. And so, wow. Food as healing. It's like there are lots of different doctors and scientists who have learned that, but the majority haven't. And so it's so exciting to hear that.
It is, because the only doctors that I've ever heard of like going beyond of what, the medical approach is like functional medicine doctors. Yes.
And then, and even with functional medical doctors, they will often, too often, I should say, overprescribe supplements. And so I do know, I came across a functional medicine doctor, and she helps people start businesses as a functional medicine doctor. And I was listening to one of her webinars, and she advises them to get a nutritionist, and work with a nutritionist. And so I think there will be more and more doctors working with nutritionists and dietitians, but autoimmune nutrition is not the same. And in fact, right now I'm working on, so I have my holistic nutrition certification, but right now I'm about to finish my autoimmune nutrition specialist certification. And
that's awesome.
It is awesome. And I love learning, and I love passing that on. And it gives me more confidence. I mean, I'm confident in how my health and my life transformed. And then when I've worked with clients, the same thing has happened. One of my first clients had fatty liver disease, in fact, and other things going on. And they've all lowered their medications. Their doctors have all said, well, okay, whatever you're doing, it's working. So keep doing that. So, that's one of the things I want to stress, is that nutrition generally isn't mentioned beyond eat healthy. And nutrition for autoimmune bodies is not the same as, It
really isn't. And I think a lot of people leave that part of the vocabulary of autoimmune disease out of it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like, go get your labs done, go see what they say, and go get put on medicine, go put on supplements, go do this, go work out, go stress less. But nutrition is never a factor in that.
Yeah, and I think it's the foundation. I believe this, the science backs it up, that's the foundation. And then it gives your body some building blocks where it can repair, it can stabilize, and then let's start working on, the nervous system.
Great point.
Yeah.
So once the nutrition starts to improve, where does stress and the nervous system come into play with that?
For me, if I'm working with someone, as I kind of said, that so nutrition can help. It starts repairing, and at a cellular level. But you can have great nutrition, but if your body is constantly in a stress state, then it's harder to heal.
Right.
And most of us have experienced this. And so we live in a stressful world. So being told that you need to stress less, again, without the tools. So that's just like being told you need to eat healthier, but you don't have the tools to do that. Same thing with stress. So,
right.
As it's beyond breathing. I mean, breathing is so important, and there's all sorts of different types of breathing, but we need to go deeper than just that, and try to, and looking at, well, what things cause you stress, and how do you respond to stress? Do you flee? Do you fight? Do you freeze? So it's really paying attention. And I think with nutrition, you're already right there. You're paying attention to how your body responds. And so that then just goes into working with someone's nervous system. It's how are you responding to situations. And as a teacher, I was a drama teacher and an English teacher, and I'm busy all the time, and so easy for the stress to come in, and I had to make that a big part, and starting with mindfulness, and then trying to make some of those things a practice. But if I forget about where the nervous system comes into play, it's easy for me then to, not feel as good, feel my energy. I'll feel it in my energy levels.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'll feel it in just feeling kind of like funky, but not knowing why I feel off. So chronic stress, yes, we all know. And there's lots of doctors are like, it's chronic stress that's killing us.
So how does chronic stress actually impact the body physically, especially with people with autoimmune disease?
Okay, well, that's a great question. So keeping our body in a constant state of alert, that affects digestion. It affects our hormone balance. It impacts immune function. So, and immune function is actually everywhere. So it's kind of impacting everything. And then so over time, that chronic stress will amplify inflammation, and it makes symptoms more intense and more frequent. So our flares we're having more flares, and the next flare is actually more intense than the previous flare. So, and that's a really frustration with women feeling like they're doing everything right, but their body still isn't responding the way they expect. And that could simply be that, the system is overwhelmed and it doesn't feel safe to heal. So our bodies are meant to heal, but autoimmune bodies need so much more support.
Right. So why do you think so many people, especially women, they feel like they're at a standstill, they feel stuck, even when they're trying diet supplements and everything they're told to do, they just feel like there's no downhill to this?
Yeah, I think part of that is, we're trying harder, but again, not necessarily more strategically. So if you're on 20, 30 different meds and supplements, that's going to add up to a mess. That is not a strategic plan. And even with 10 or 15, it's like, okay, wait, we don't need 4 supplements for exhaustion. Let's find a supplement that actually works. And of course with me it'd be like, no, we're going to go food first, and then if that's not working, but we don't need 5, because you don't even know what's working. And then in fact I have had clients whose nutritionists did, because they wouldn't know, subscribe some supplements that are actually really great for the donor population, but they can increase inflammation. They're not good for autoimmune bodies. And, so one of those would be ashwagandha, which I ran on last week. And ashwagandha is the rage, and it's great for relaxation, and other things. So it's not like, I think one of the issues with supplements is, I just think it's the American psyche that we find a good thing and we put that good thing on steroids. So,
absolutely.
So instead of, drinking 4 cups of tea a day, now we're going to take supplements, and then, now they've found that
maximize it that way.
can be toxic to the liver. So, and again, because, our livers and kidneys, they're not generally functioning, and our guts aren't functioning at optimum levels. So putting all these things on top of it can really mess things up. And but it's not that they're not trying. They are trying, and wondering why their body's not responding. But, we try one thing and that doesn't work. So we move on to another, and then we move on to another, and then another. And so I think the whole, a more strategic plan, but then the whole holistic approach as well. The nutrition, the nervous system regulation, the sleep, sleep comes along with it. And then movement, autoimmune bodies, when you're tired and you have, your muscles ache, your body aches, you don't want to move. But we know that you need to keep your body moving. And so
yeah, I couldn't even manage to make it outside, so I got me one of those vibration plates, and it's helped me a lot in movement and my circulation and a lot of just mobility in general.
Yes. Yeah. And I have a vibration pillow that I use. And then I have one for my feet that I use as well. And that's that helps with grounding as well. And so I use that every morning. My pillow is actually, on my chair, but it also you can take a vibrating pillow, and you can also put it around your stomach.
Yeah, I just got one off Amazon, and it's from a company, a family-based company in California, but it's a heating and massaging pillow for your neck. And, because the ones with all them rolling balls, they just hurt me too bad. So I just wanted a regular vibrating, heating pillow.
Yeah.
And I came across that.
Right. And they call them massage pillows, but it really is the vibration. And it is really helpful. That's part of nervous system regulation. And then just, simple things. Some of these things are really simple. It's, it's getting your fresh air every day. It's walking around barefoot for a little bit every day. Things that bring you joy. There's so many things that work together.
Absolutely. So, okay, we just spoke about Joyce, and I'm about to go downhill for a minute. At what point does trauma become part of this conversation? How does it actually affect the body? Because I've heard trauma is what can cause autoimmune disease.
Yes. And trauma tends to come way before we're ever diagnosed with an autoimmune. Let's just jump right into trauma. So, we know this, especially with fibromyalgia. Almost all women that have been diagnosed, men too, had physical trauma, like a car accident, or emotional trauma. And then, and then they found this with autoimmune as well, that there's just this huge percentage of people that suffered physical and emotional, physical or emotional or both, years before they were diagnosed. And so, the trauma. So if I'm working with someone, say, and we're working on nutrition, we're working on gut repair, we've gone into, nervous system regulation habits, sleep hygiene, and habits. But then if their body's still feeling depleted and inflamed, then it's okay, there might be some deeper levels here. And sometimes those are toxins. And let's take a look at that. But sometimes it's okay, do we, they say the issue is in the tissues. And so that's when, so the body keeps a record of what we've been through. And so let's look at trauma. Because trauma will show up physically. And again, it could be decades later, and so you don't make the connection. But, right. it can, show up as not being able to fully relax. In fact, one thing that I noticed, and I'm trying to think when I started noticing this, it was when I was actually starting to feel better, symptoms were disappearing. And it just happened to, I kept my hands were in fists all the time. So, and at rest, they were in fists. And it's okay, So I knew that was connected to trauma, because I knew that, my body is in a state of fight. So I'm not feeling safe. And even when my mind tells me I'm safe and I look relaxed and I feel relaxed, it's like, okay, there's something else going on. And so, so looking at trauma, other things that can indicate that there's trauma going on is you're wired, but yet you're exhausted. And your flares, flares are just intensifying. You do all these things. But the flares, especially, like, stress is just a part of life. And so when life gets overwhelming, if your body flares up right away, that generally also indicates trauma. And so then, is that a missing piece? And because, science now studies show that's been so much of a part of developing autoimmune. So, we're taught, the medical community is taught to focus only on the symptoms, but then not on what the body has been holding on to. And so, for some people, it is doing trauma work with other practitioners. For others, maybe they've already done trauma work, or they've already worked through some things and let some things go, and they have a gratitude practice, and that involves forgiveness. They're able to create safety in the body.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's important. What would you say to a woman right now who feels like mostly every single woman has gone through? They're feeling overwhelmed, dismissed, and they don't even know where to start.
Yeah, there's a few things I would say. One is, and this, I want to speak directly to them. So you're not crazy. Your body's not broken. You're not alone. So what you're feeling is real. You don't need to figure everything out at once, and you don't need to rely on just what the medical community tells you. I think for all of us, that if we're taking some control, our brains automatically pick that up, and it will lead us to things, more and more things that will help us get to healing.
Absolutely.
I get really frustrated with some of the different groups where when someone asks a question and you have a response of like, nothing. Or like, just pray. And I think prayer is important, but no, God, it's not enough. And we have all these tools and we should use them. And I just it does so much for us if we feel like we're not just a victim of the system. We're not, we just have to do whatever they say, and we just have to lay there on the couch. Like, we can do things. It does so much for our mindset if we feel that we have some control. And so
I think you just spoke something very important about other communities. Like, what I've noticed is you see these quote-unquote support communities, but how are you supporting someone if you're turning off the comments, if you're not sharing or allowing other people to post on it? Because I see the same things that I be posting to groups that they're asking questions about, but you can't answer them. Like, I feel like they're just stuck.
Yes. Yeah, like finding you. So, and you've allowed me to post on your group, and I've allowed you to post on my group, and it's all really important in supporting women. And I would tell women, don't listen to a doctor who you just feel isn't taking your symptoms seriously, who is actually telling you, well, your blood work is fine, you're just stressed.
Right, like you have the right to go to another doctor.
Yeah. and find someone who's really going to listen. I had one client whose doctor, she didn't even have an actual diagnosis yet. They were suspecting lupus, but they were still doing these testing. And the doctor put her on kidney medication right away.
What?
And because, her lab work had showed protein in the urine. But there's different reasons for protein in the urine. That doesn't mean you have lupus. And she said the medication, because I get this a lot too, right? The medication's giving these side effects. And she goes, I feel worse. And so when she told her doctor that, the doctor took her off that medication, but then assigned another one. And then my research was like, that's for kidney disease, and you've not been diagnosed with kidney disease. Your kidney function is not showing that, but it was like a prevention, right? That's what was going on with the doctor. Oh, we're just going to put you on this medication, but it was a pretty intense medication, and so that's when it was like, okay, let's look for a different rheumatologist. Let's look for a different.
Like I post a lot of videos on women and autoimmune disease because, it is scientifically known that women, have more diagnosis than men. So I feel like when a woman advocates for her health, she sounds like she is being demanding. And I don't feel like any woman should have to downplay how they feel or what questions they should ask in order to get answers and concerns of their health.
Yeah, and I think we also need to accept that they're limiting. So
right.
So the rheumatologist, I live in Reno is a big city, but we have a rheumatologist she's in 4 different rural areas, and when I would go see her, it was okay. She's running tests, and then she's telling me the test results and sending me on my way, and then 6 months later. Or 3 months later, same test, and she tells me results, and that's it. And I was like, I don't understand why I'm paying for this. Why does she not have? Why can't she steer me towards something else besides, well, let's try this medication, or let's try this medication. What are other things we can do? And eventually, I went back to my personal physician and said, can't you read my labs? Why am I paying a specialist who's actually not helping me improve my health? They look at symptoms. They're not looking at the whole health journey.
Yeah, that I don't understand it at all. I know that there are a limit of rheumatologists and specialists, but you would think they would take the patients that they have more seriously instead of sending them back and forth. Because I think that's what makes a lot of us more anxious and, makes us worry more and concerned, especially when others don't know how to read their labs and, they're wondering what this means and how does it, affect this. And, just get your mind all discombobulated at that point.
Yep. It's kind of easy to do that.
So that's why I feel like these communities are, important, and, having open discussions and not gatekeeping information and having access to whatever information that you need to help you in your mind. But I actually had someone from the community ask this, and she said, it's pulmonary, God forgive me if I pronounce this word wrong, sarcoidosis, an autoimmune disorder. My doctor said no, but I feel like it is. So I just want your perspective on that and maybe how people can navigate situations where they're getting conflicted information.
Yeah. Well, and I really want I want us to research and cross-reference and, not do your research on TikTok and,
right.
because there's way too much of that, and
because they like the clickbait, the scare tactic. That's the thing that gets their reels going is the scare tactic.
Yeah.
But I've never even heard of pulmonary sarcoidosis. But the only thing I've heard about it is that it is like an autoimmune disorder, but it doesn't affect, it affects, I don't even remember what I read. I ain't even gonna sit here and lie. But what are your thoughts on that?
On that particular condition?
Yeah, she wanted me to ask you.
Okay, so there are some things that can cause inflammation, but they're not necessarily an autoimmune. But I mean that one it is inflammation. It does affect immune cells.
Yeah, it goes like it's in the. I don't know why they wouldn't categorize it as an autoimmune condition when it affects the autoimmune or the immune system and it causes inflammation.
Right.
Like, that threw me off guard, and I was researching it, and I'm like, why? I'm not understanding this.
Yeah, and I wonder if, for it to be labeled an autoimmune, it's the symptoms and then it's the blood work, what our labs show. But I don't know. I mean, the research. I don't know. The research labels it as a autoimmune, because it's attacking. We know this, but right, autoimmune is attacking different parts of our bodies, and so that condition is impacting the lungs. Yeah, it seems to me.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off guard. So
yeah, but it would be, we can do our research and feel like in control, and then if you're finding, I think that's also like as a holistic nutritionist, I found the sites, the places I can go to for solid science and studies where they're going to actually say, well, this is what happened in mice, but there's been no human studies, or this was a really small study. So you get all these claims again on social media. You get all these claims, and maybe it was 3 people who reacted favorably, with something. But that's not enough to make a claim. Yet people make claims. They make claims all the time, and some of the claims are, there's a whole lot. We think that if a cure is found, we'll be cured, and it's like you don't have to wait for a medical cure, because you could be waiting a long time. Because in order for, when something's found, they have to test it, and after animal testing, if there can be human testing, that's what you have to start. And so it could be years down the road. It's like, please don't wait for that. Right. But it makes them feel that, oh, there's hope. But it's like, no, you have things you can do now. Right now you can do things. And with social media, it could be a doctor, someone who's claiming to be a doctor, and they'll give some studies showed, or it was caused by this. And it's like, okay, but that's not treatment. That's not, how someone's going to get better just by trying to figure out what causes it. My daughter just a few weeks ago forwarded me, and this was on TikTok, and a scientist was claiming that he had uncovered that people who talk to themselves out loud don't get colds and don't get chronic illnesses. And I'm like, I've been talking to myself out loud.
I wonder who these participants were.
And I was like, and my mind immediately goes, well, how did they? What kind of study? So and that's why it is important to and there's also the whole thing of causation. Well, correlation doesn't mean causation. So just because 2 things are related doesn't mean that caused it, right? So, and it's like the Epstein-Barr, that was going around a few months ago. That if you have Epstein-Barr, you will get an autoimmune disease. And well, when I got it, it was you will get lupus. But then I noticed in other groups that was the claim, for Hashimoto's, and that was the claim for Sjogren's, and all these claims. And then when I did the research, almost all of our society has had Epstein-Barr. Well,
yep, I have in my antibodies.
Yeah.
And that came from when you had the mono vaccine when you were little.
Right. But not everyone developed an autoimmune disease. So it's like, okay, some of these things we can really just like let's think these through before we jump on a bandwagon. And I feel that way, the same thing with like people will ask me about, say, electrolytes or something, like a drink. And like, you're getting hydrated. That could be why it's working. You're getting hydrated. Or let's take the carnivore diet. Is it the meat where you're feeling that a lot of your symptoms are getting cleared up, or is that you're no longer eating processed foods? It's no sugar, it's no salt. You're no longer eating processed foods, and so there's all these things to look at. And then another point about that is people will create it's a theory, and they'll put it out there, and the unsuspecting person thinks it's fact, but actually it's a theory. It hasn't even been put to a scientific study yet. So I try to get people like, okay, just think it through for a little bit. Is that logical? But I mean, I understand wanting to jump on, oh, this is it. They found the reason why, and so now there'll be a cure. And it's like, that cure could be 30, 50 years out.
They have to understand, too, that social media is a big paying thing. So whatever blob they want to put out there and call whoever they want a doctor, or call this miracle pill, whatever they want to call it, you still need to fact check whatever it is that you're looking at, because chances are it's either AI generated or it's a bunch of crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if this miracle thing worked, millions of people wouldn't have it.
Right. And if it were that like simple,
right, we wouldn't be sitting here like dumbfounded, like what's going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also heard that sugar stays in your system worse than a steroid pill. There's just a lot of things that, they get you to play them so they can go through your mind, get you to get the fear, and get you to buy this, and get you to do this. And I don't know. I just think we just all need to slow down, do our own research.
And the American diet, and I think this is one of the reasons that what I do with women works so well, is, our food supply is full of pesticides. If you're buying something packaged, there's chemicals, there's preservatives, and there's sugar added to make things taste better. There's protein added, and that could be that's probably not a good source of protein. Maybe one that we're not even absorbing, but hey, it's got protein in there, and so we feel good about that. And oils, if you look on ingredient labels, you'll find all these added oils and hidden sugars and hidden sources of salt. And so, getting back to like real food, which means whole foods and mostly plant-based foods, you're not getting all of those things that can be impacting your body. And maybe a certain, say, preservative I don't respond to, but my mom has MS, and she responds to everything practically, and it wasn't until she completely cut out processed foods. She hung on to some of her favorites and her favorite restaurants, and then she went off for a month, and she's like, my muscle pain went away. She's like, I cannot believe how how good I felt. And she was doing a lot of good things, a lot of right things. And she herself is really smart and researches a lot. But she is way more sensitive to additives, say, than I am. And, and then I just learned when we talk about pollutants and, that, that's in our soil, that's in our air. And then those are things to look at. You talked about black mold and those toxins and a well-functioning liver, and a well-functioning immune system works through those. Like, we don't need to detox. A healthy person does not need to detox. Our bodies do that. Exactly. And they're meant to do that. That's what our kidneys and liver are there for. But what won't impact, again, an autoimmune body is different. And so, looking at those things, looking at mold, looking at metals, looking at, when there's things that we're doing and those things aren't working, then it's like, okay, now what should we look at? But we don't necessarily need 10 supplements because, we had, we had a crown.
Right.
And so, yeah. But, yeah. And then, again, emphasizing there's a whole lot out there about healing the gut. And we can heal the gut. And food can help heal the gut. We don't need medications. We don't, again, all these supplements, probiotics and prebiotics and natural this and natural that. And that, you can slap labels on anything because the FDA doesn't regulate. So,
exactly.
And we'll find that at the store, right? You can go to the store any day and there's going to be some new product with a label. Mm-hmm. And again, the studies, when they actually put a lot of these in a lab and they look at them, they find that so many of the what's supposed to be in it isn't in it. Or yes, you're getting these good ingredients, but oh, look, there's sawdust in here too. There's, or the capsule is actually, plastic is used to surround that capsule. And so now you're consuming that. So
it's wild.
But right, if we're doing whole foods, and that's why I'm advocating, you're not getting that. So.
Right. And, that's why I think it's so important to have these conversations with people. And that's why I love these conversations because, it brings awareness and it gives you more knowledge and, it can continue spreading to other people. So, because a lot of women are out here who I see constantly are feeling dismissed or feeling confused. They're feeling that they're doing everything right, but they are still not getting any answers.
Mm-hmm.
But just like you said, you're not crazy. You just never been given the full picture. And that I think that's
never been given in a process. So,
right.
Some of the things, to me, having multiple supplements, take this, and this, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall, and seeing what sticks. But I think the problem is you actually aren't knowing what's sticking. Again, if you're on 15 supplements, well, what actually is giving you energy? We need a process. It's looking at one thing and testing that, and then, and it's not just adding it; it's also then taking away. And how does your body feel? And like, okay, so I know that one. I know that actually improved my symptoms. But there's a way to do that, and it doesn't have to be like a 30-day of removing something. A lot of people with autoimmune are also developing allergies and food sensitivities.
Mm-hmm.
Another reason I think why we do such important work is we're not limited one autoimmune. Others will follow. And so, some people end up with multiple autoimmune. But I think what's exciting for me in working with nutrition is addressing all of these different autoimmune.
Right.
Unlike a medication might be just for this or just for this. And so I know through my own story and then through people I've worked with that the nutrition will, it does bring back energy. It does bring back mental clarity. It will reduce pain. So it'll help us manage stress better. And then all of these things work in tandem. So, the nervous system will start responding, sleep gets better, but it's in working together, like we can tackle sleep and then nutrition can also help us sleep. So it's all working together.
Right. Exactly. I thought it was amazing connecting with you. I feel like I have a lot to learn and I want to do more connections with you. But I feel like this needed to be a subject that needed to be in the whole picture because it's been on the sidelines for too long.
Yes.
So
agreed.
I do want to thank you for spending this hour with me, for your experience, and for helping me get other women in the knowledge and in the advocacy and the whole framework all together. I think it's amazing, your story, your path, your everything. I just want to bring awareness to more people. So thank you again for sitting down with me today. I do appreciate you.
Thank you.
And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it to her because your symptoms are not random and your voice does matter.
Yes. It's a great way to end.
Thank you, Amy. I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
If they sleeping on us, wake 'em up now.